AO EC here, and today we're going to look at this news from globalnewswire.com. Atari half year 2023-2024 results. So let's have a look at this little bit of news, see how well Atari's doing, and see whether or not I'm going to be a millionaire in the next 5 years. So for those that know, Atari is obviously a company I do have an investment in, so I'm a little bit biased, and I will be covering them in this obviously video. I cover Atari quite a lot. So if you're new here, make sure you obviously subscribe if you're into Atari and whatnot. Let's have a look. So, scroll down. Paris, France, December 11th, because it isn't Atari, it's actually a French company. Atari, one of the world's most iconic consumer brands and interactive entertainment producers, today announced the group's consolidated results of the half year ended September 30th, 2023, approved by the board of directors during its meeting held on December 8th. The half year financial statements were the subject of a limited review by its statutory auditors. The half year financial report is available on Atari's Investor Relations website. So, highlights for the end for first half ended September 30th, 2023. Acquisitions of GTI catalog, GTA Interactive of retro games, updated listing of OT markets in the US States, acquisition of M Network Atari 2600 titles and related trademarks, acquisition of Night Dive Studios Inc. Night Dive, €30 million convertible bond issue, strategic collaboration with Playmagic, and termination of token project and claim provided to eligible token holders. So, posting closing events. Acquisition of Astronaut Soldiers from Ronimo Games. Acquisition of Digital Codes Entertainment Partners Co. Official release of Atari. Sorry. Atari's official release of Atari 27 Plus on November 17th, 2023. So, these last three are not obviously not going to be included in this. So let's have a look. Revenues for the period, €6.4 million versus 4.3 million the previous year, with games revenue for the period at 5.3 million, including Night Dive versus 22.8 million in the previous year. So that's pretty good. That's obviously pretty good. I know they haven't really released that many games in that time. I know obviously you had games. I think it was Days of Doom was one of the ones that would have been included, but that was only out for like a few days. And then you've also got Mr. Run Jump. These are obviously some of the big games Atari released during this time, so that's good. So, current operating income minus €3.4 million versus minus 4.2 million in the previous year. So, not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure that's good because obviously it's minus. Obviously, it means with minus numbers, the smaller the minus number, the better. So obviously that means you're close to making a profit. Operating income was minus €5 million versus 5.2 million in the previous year. Net income was minus 6.6 million versus 5. Yeah, okay, so net income went down by quite a bit. Wade Rosen, Chairman and Executive Chief Officer, commented, "We continue to execute on our retro-focused strategy in the first half of this fiscal year by releasing new Atari games, announcing the Atari 2600 Plus, and continuing to build our licensing pipelines. The acquisition of Night Dive Studios and Digital Codes Entertainment, two world leaders in celebrating gaming history who share the same DNA of Atari, helps to support our retro-focused growth strategy." Highlights of the period. During the first half of this fiscal year, the company has continued to focus its resources on the activities across its four lines of business as well as the execution of inorganic growth strategy. So, games. Continued investment in the development of new games for 4 new game launches, including This Run and Jump, Quantum Recharge, Days of Doom, and Pixel Rip 1978. Okay, so that's pretty good. Those are some pretty notable games. Pretty notable games for Atari. During the period, Atari also announced the launch of Rollercoaster Tycoon Adventures, Haunted, the Haunted House, and Berserk Recharged. The second half of the year, during the period, Night Dive's launched a System Shock remake and Rise of Triad Ludicrous Edition, and announced planned launches for Star Wars, Dark Force, and Turok 3 for the second half of the year. I've just realised. Okay, good. Okay, good. Just checking. Cool. Hardware. Continued work on optimizing the VCS operating system and continued expansion with more than 13 games added to the VCS store. 2 Atari XP card releases have been concluded in the first half of the year. This round Jump Outlaw and Outlaw, and pre-orders for the new 2600 Plus opened in August of 2023 and delivery started in November 2023. During the period, the title also concluded a strategic partnership with Playmagic, the company behind the Polymega game console, to collaborate on innovative retro hardware and software incentives alongside an investment in the company. Good licensing. Continued efforts of building new licensing verticals and driving new incentives across new categories and geographies with well-respected international brands. Then we have Web3, which obviously I'm not a fan of Web3, not really interested in this. I don't really see how this really benefits Atari long term, but we'll see. While the general blockchain market environment remains difficult, Atari X is pivoting from Web3 only towards community development and cross collaboration with other lines of business and exclusive drops built on launch of the Atari Club. In this context, Atari also announced that it had terminated its new token project previously announced and provided a claim of a fixed number of third-party tokens to eligible Atari holders, which ended September 2023. Okay. Other general corporate developments. Brand and e-commerce. During the period, foundational work has been made to allow for scalable e-commerce operations. Atari.com homepage and product pages have been reviewed. New licensees have been onboarded on Atari.com, as specific marketing efforts have been made to support ongoing holiday season and Atari 2600 Plus launch campaign. Financing. In the course of the first half of the year, Atari has successfully completed the offering of senior unsecured bonds convertible into new ordinary shares due July 31st, 2026, for a nominal amount of 30 million euros, 6.5 million squared by offset set off, and 12.9 million euros in cash. Acquisitions. Several acquisitions have been completed in the course of its first half of the year, which aimed at further complementing Atari's portfolio of intellectual property, e.g. GT Interactive catalog retro games and network Atari 2600 titles, and increasing Atari publishing and development capabilities in retro gaming, Night Dive Studios, and complement Atari's community of fans with the acquisition of Atari Age. So let's see what else. Revenues. So here's obviously the breakdown table of revenues. Obviously, half year 23 to 2024. Clearly, as you can see, quite a nice big increase compared to what we got. There is kind of strange to note that Web3 is actually like one of the bigger increases. I think, like, yeah, the only one that's actually down is licensing, but that is to be expected because licensing is better stable. So, for the first half ending September 30th, 2023, the group recorded a revenue of 6.4 million euro compared to 4.3 million for the same period. Last year revenues for the period notably included the contribution of Night Dive Studios, which was fully consolidated starting May 11th, 2023. The evolution represents an increase of 46% at current exchange rate and 50% at constant exchange rate. Games for the period. Games revenue represented 5.3 million compared to 2.8 million in the previous period and included 2.7 million from revenues from Night Dive Studios, which was acquired on May 11th, 2023. Excluding the contribution of Night Dive, games revenues represented 22.6 million for the period. Okay. So if you count out Night Dive stuff, the games revenue was actually down. But obviously, because you've got Night Dive, obviously it's up. But it's like double what it was. Hardware revenues for the period represented 0.5 million compared to 0.2 million in the previous period. This does not include revenues from new titles, 2600 plus period announced in August 2023, which will be recorded in the second half of the fiscal year. Okay, good. Last revenues for the period represented 0.4 million euros compared to 0.6 million in the previous period. Atari is building a new pipeline of opportunities across new categories and geographies. Web3 revenues in the period stood at 0.1 million compared to 0.7 in the previous period. Essentially generated by Atari's limited edition summer camp collection available via the Coinbase on-chain summer program in August 2023. Atari is pivoting the Atari X model from Web3 towards community management across collaborations. So here we go. Here are the losses and the current, consolidated income statement, which I have no idea what some of the stuff means. So we're gonna have to obviously try it. So if I'm guessing, the net income loss was 6.6 million, so I assume we lost that much this year. So gross margin. Gross margin for the period stands at 4.7 compared to 3.3 million. Okay, that's good. That's good. Obviously, nice 1.4 million increase for the previous period, thanks to lower cost of goods sold, notable on hardware and Night Dive's deferred revenue recognition, partially compensated by higher games royalty expenses paid by Atari and Night Dive. Current operating income for the period stood at minus 34 million compared to minus 40.2 million in the previous period. Research and development expenses increased from 2.3 to 3.3 million. That's also just Night Dive. Notable the effect of Night Dive integration and related amortization expenses on game development. Marketing and sales expenses increased from 0.3 million to 0.5 million, which general and administration expenses decreased by 1 million. previous year. So operating income for the period came at minus 5 million compared to minus 5.2 million after taking into account 1.3 million in impairment on select games and 0.3 million expenses to third-party token granted to Atari holders as part of the claim concluded in September. Consolidated net income showed a loss of 6.6 million for the period compared to a loss of 5.4 million in the previous period. Cost of debt includes notable 0.6 million accrued interest on convertible bonds issued on June 1st, 2023. Other financial expenses include a negative impact on 0.9 million related to convertible bonds amortization. So balance sheet, we've got a balance sheet here. Non-current assets. So this is obviously in millions, I believe. So the total assets of Atari is like 54.6 million, which is kind of crazy. So let's have a look. In relation to the acquisitions completed during the period, non-current assets went from 18.1 million in March 2023 to 42.3 million in September 2023, plus 11.9 million resulting from the goodwill recognised for the acquisition of Night Dive Studios Inc. included on May 11th, 2023, plus 7 million in other tangible assets, which include increased capitalisation R&D in relation with the relaunch of premium games and the acquisition of Night Dive and IPs, plus 5.4 million in non-current financial assets, reflecting notably the 4.6 million investment concluded by Atari in Play. Oh, so we know. So now we know how much the investment actually was. 4.6 million in Play Margie. How much is that? How big a stake would that give them in Play Margie? Then I'm kind of curious about that. Play Margie, they're quite small, but like, how much is 4.6 million euro? How much does that get you off Play Margie? I'm kind of curious about that now. Current assets increased from 7.1 million to 12.3 million over the period, notably due to the 4.8 million increase in cash and cash equivalents, taking into account the process of the convertible bonds issuance completed on June 1st, 2023. Equity and liabilities, obviously, this is like debts and that. The group's shareholder equity went from 7.8 million to 11.2 million, mainly resulting from the issuance of 36,000, so 36 million and 662,142 in total new shares. Share premium increased from 32.7 million to 36.2 million, accounting for the convertible bond derivative value of an amount of 3.6 million, as well as 0.9 gain on the conversion of Antstream convertible note. Okay, so they must have obviously, I don't know, like, did Antstream get shares of Atari, or like, was it because obviously Atari got shares in Antstream, or what? Non-current liabilities increased from 9.5 million to 32.5 million over the period due to the accounting of the convertible bond debt component for 26.8 million, as well as the 3.9 million liability estimate for the non-current part of the earnout payable in cash to Night Dive. Okay. Current liabilities increased to 10.8 million over the period and comprise notably 2.3 million liability estimate for the earnout due to Night Dive for the first year after closing on the acquisition, around 2 million deferred revenues from Atari tokens and 1 million revenues from Atari 2600 plus pre-orders that will be recognized upon delivery in the course of the second half of the year. Okay, that's pretty good. And then, as of September 30th, 2023, net financial debt stood at 221 million, including 6.5 million of cash and 27.6 million of financial debt, compared to net debt position of 6.2 million periods. So the outlook. Let's look at the outlook. So obviously, as an investor, you want to know the outlook for these companies long term. The second half of the year, of his fiscal year, Atari intends to continue to focus on executing a strategy across all four lines of business, as well as on integration of recently acquired Night Dive Studios and Digital Eclipse, and to expand its internal development capabilities and to support Atari's retro-focused strategy. So, games continued launch of new games by Atari: Neo Sprint, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Adventure Deluxe, What Else Berserk Recharge, and Night Dive System Shock remake on console Star Wars Dark Forces Terror 3. As well as the integration of digital clips. Additionally, new digital partnership opportunities with leading platforms will be prioritized. Hardware is focused on the execution of the Atari 2600 Plus and commercialization. Going to continue to release for Atari XP cart program, integration of Atari Age, and implementation of a strategic partnership with Playmargy, so Polymega. Licensing, continued development of licensing opportunities across multiple geographies and verticals. The licensing thing is a bit weirder. I'm not sure how you're really going to do that. Web3, continued development of Atari's Web3 ecosystem and Atari X community with the Atari Club, including partnerships and collaborations with leading Web3 partners. So, given the uncertain macro environments for video games and Web3, the group considers that the implementation of its next new growth strategy may require additional funding resources, given its uncertain cash flow horizon in the context of transformation. The company could, in due course, enter into new tranches of shareholder loans with Rata on market terms and continues in enabling it to meet certain short-term needs and/or raise new financing under terms and considerations and within a time frame to be determined, including, if necessary, by way of a public offering. The company currently benefits from the continued support of its principal shareholder, Errata LLC, until the shareholders' meeting approving the financial statements as of March 31st, 2024. So, Atari might need some more funding. Is what I'm getting from this. That's the main takeaway I'm getting. Atari might need more funding. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, at least from what I can tell, it's better than what happened last quarter, where they obviously had less game sales and obviously less revenue. But then again, the losses are more. But then that's probably due to acquisitions that they did. So hopefully we find out more. But yeah, this is just kind of yikes. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. If you're new, make sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, turn notifications. Articles linked below if you want to check it out. I've been EC and I'm signing out. Peace.